Well, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for showing up here and taking time out of your day today. I promise to be a good steward of your time as usual. And lately, I've been doing doing these more often than I normally do. But there's a lot of information flying out there at us, and I think the best way for me to get these out is just by doing these live trainings and helping you guys grow your businesses. So basically what I'm doing, in all honesty, is just stalling here for about 90 more seconds. I see a lot of people logging on here or watching this or whatever. We're going to have a couple of fun exercises. We're going to do some giveaways, some bonuses. I've got a place for you to tweet your questions to me. I'm going to give you a hashtag here in a couple minutes. We're going to do all sorts of really cool stuff on here. And more importantly, you're going to learn stuff today on this webinar, this training, that you can leave and implement and turn into commission checks immediately. I don't give a shit what business you're in. So, all right, first and foremost, let me give you a little bit of a warning. First and foremost, why don't I just show my face to you so that you can see I'm really here. So welcome to mi casa, right? This is my kitchen, and we will be cooking up some evil schemery today. But hey, welcome here. I appreciate you giving me your time. And in all seriousness, I'm going to show you some stuff today that you can turn into commission checks. I'm going to show you how to generate leads using Facebook primarily. I'm going to show you how to have some powerful sales conversations with those leads once you get them. And I'm going to show you how to charge premium prices while having those powerful conversations with the lead that you generated, right? So all three are going to work together. I'm going to take maybe an hour, maybe a little bit longer of your time. So just make sure that you set that aside and focus. Now, as we go through this training, I highly recommend you grab you a pen and paper, or if you're a cool person like me, you got your iPad that you get and you do your Evernote thing with. That's what I personally use. Either way, you need to get some stuff because you're going to want to take some notes. that must be a Southern thing, totally, right? You're going to want to take some notes, and there's no way you're going to remember everything that I'm going to show you here. And okay, so now that everybody's on here, if you have a question, go to Twitter and use the hashtag BreakFreeAcademy. Again, go to Twitter, use the hashtag at any point through here. Just go to Twitter and enter the hashtag BreakFreeAcademy. I'll try to answer a few of them at the end of this training, and then I'll periodically be checking that hashtag over the next 5 or 6 hours as you guys that happen to watch this think of a question down the road. So I'm going to make myself available even after the fact here. So, all right, enough about all of that. Let's get, real quick. I've got a bonus for you, right? If you stay on to the end of this webinar, then I'm going to give you a super secret 12-page sales letter. It's killing it. It's got a training that goes alongside of it. I only give it to our high-end clients and our Break Free Academy. The people go through Break Free Academy, people are in the tribe. There's maybe a handful of people that have their hands on this letter. I'm going to pick one person, but you got to stay on to the end to know what to do in order to get your hands on that letter. It's powerful. Read it and try not to buy something from me. I don't even sell houses, but read the letter and try not to buy the house from me. Those of you that are watching this that have read it before, you're like, yeah, it's pretty seriously good letter. So let's just jump right into what we got going on here. And enough about looking at me. Let me get my screen all set up properly. So what we're going to discuss today is how to generate leads, increase closing ratios, and charge premium prices. We already talked about that a little bit in the intro. And again, as we go through here, at any point, if you have a question, go to Twitter and tweet your question and use the hashtag BreakFreeAcademy. Got to keep it short. So little housekeeping real quick. I said earlier, grab a pen and an iPad if you use Evernote or whatever the case, and turn off all your distractions, right? I know I just asked you to go to Twitter, but you're watching this on your desktop. So if you come up with something, just simply open up the Twitter tab and shoot it out, right? But don't get distracted. My goal is for you to spend this time focused with, I know it's hard, right? And this is the pot calling the kettle black, whatever the saying is, right? I know it's hard to stay focused because we have all this technology, emails going off and everything else, but here we go with the gonna wanna thing. I don't know what the theme is with that today, but you're gonna want to pay attention to this stuff, and it's gonna help you in your business, and I just don't want you to be distracted. Yep, so enough on that. I move quick as well. And at the end of this, my biggest goal is for you to implement what you learn so that you can get commission checks, like I said, because knowledge plus action is the only way that you're gonna get success. That's a saying that I've been coining since 2012. It may have been around before. I just thought of it. That doesn't mean that it hadn't been thought of before, but I've been touting that saying there, knowledge plus action equals success, for a while. So let's get started. Who am I? So before you got here, you may not have heard of me. But during the time that you're on here, I'm going to explain my expertise, demonstrate what makes me the authority in the consulting niche that I am. And at the end, if you like what I have to say, then we'll see what the next steps could possibly be from there. But I am not a victim at all, right? They call me the hardcore closer. And a lot of people ask me, so how did I get the name Hardcore Closer? And it wasn't so much, I'm a good salesman. I've been like top salesman everywhere, but it wasn't so much about my hardcore sales approach. It was really the hardcore lifestyle that I've had to go through and live and still be able to do the things that I have. So it's just kind of a nickname that stuck. And it wasn't always like this. Like, this is a website here that I've spent, I think, $5,000 on just for the brand and the outline. I write all the content myself, everything else. Feel free to hop over there. That's the Hardcore Closer blog, right? Hardcorecloser.com. Not right now. Wait till this is over. But my brand wasn't always like this, right? It wasn't always this like really pretty thing. I started out like this, like with the purple banner. I actually made this banner on GIMP, which is a poor man's Photoshop, right? It's a free version of Photoshop. And as you can see by the lovely tread marks around the outside with the shadow, mind you, the 3D shadow background here. This is what my brand literally used to look like. For those of you that watch my videos now, you know, I have a funny lizard at the end that's like, you want some shit, man? That guy, right? Which came from a YouTube video. This is what the end of my videos used to look like. And this was actually the banner across my website. It was terrible, but people still came to the website because I had content. So how did it happen, right? So I had content, but I had a job still at the same time. I've had several different jobs, owned several different businesses, and failed at several different ventures during the time from the purple banner up until what you saw before you and what you see today on my website. So how did this transformation happen in my particular story? So first of all, I did hard work. I was one of the first people to put in a podcast, and I started podcasting in 2011 from the front seat of my car while I sold cars, right? So I would actually go to the front seat of my personal car at lunchtime every single Thursday and do it. Back then we called it Sales Finesse. Now it's called Rockstar Closer. I didn't even realize it was a podcast. I was paying $20 a month to Blog Talk Radio just so I could say I had a radio show, because I honestly was embarrassed that I sold cars. I love selling cars, but all my friends viewed me as a failure because I sold cars. And it's a long story why I worked there, so that Jax had health insurance and stuff as an entrepreneur. Like many of you, I didn't have health insurance. Well, thanks to Obamacare, we do now, but I didn't have health insurance at the time. And so I had to take a corporate job, which selling cars was something that fit me to make a quick buck. And I did really good at it. But regardless, I started my podcast from the front seat. So even though I had other things going on in my life, the reason why I tell you this is even though I had other things going on in my life, I was busy, I was selling cars, I had a boss breathing down my neck, everything else, I still put in the work to make the things happen that led me to where I am today. And I stayed consistent with it. No matter what, I made sure that when I started that podcast, for example, that every Thursday, I think it was at 11 o'clock, that I didn't have a customer on the line. I had to give away customers sometimes just to lose money, obviously, just to be able to stay consistent for my audience. And I created good content. I listened on Facebook to what people were talking about and complaining about and struggling with and everything else. I paid attention in the Facebook groups that I was in. I watched the hashtags on Twitter. I paid attention to the discussion in groups on LinkedIn. Anything I could do that I could answer these people's questions instead of messaging them individually, I would create content and then say, here's how you do this. Enjoy this video. And then I would share it with the entire group, or I would ask them to share it as well. But I consistently did as much as I could to deliver to the audience so that they could count on me, right? And then it really took off for me in 2013 when I learned advertising. It changed everything. I had been doing everything the hard way, which I call manual labor, right? You can either pay the money or you can do it yourself. And I was doing it myself this whole time, right? Like I said, hard work, consistency, content. And then I learned about advertising. It changed everything for me. And I'm going to change everything for you today as well. So the first thing that I had to do was learn to generate leads. Now, listen, I'm a natural born salesman. I started off selling car washes for my stepdad. And the good news with that was I got to talk to sometimes 1,100 people in a day and try to change their mind. And it gave me a lot of firsthand practice. It really honed in my people skills and everything else. When I got into the mortgage business, I shook a lot of hands. I went to networking parties, probably the same things that you're doing now. I did in 2004, 5, and 6, and the rest of the time that I was in there, right? But you know, I was a salesman. If I could just get in front of people, that's what I always used to say. If I could just get in front of somebody, right? Or if they'll give me their ears and pay attention to me, or if they'll go to lunch with me, I'll close them, blah, blah, blah. But it was a lot of hard work to be able to get in front of people. And then you know how it is. You have to get in front of people, no matter how good of a closer you are, multiple times to be able to keep that relationship fresh, just like any other relationship. And so I knew that I was a good salesman, and I knew that I could close people. But the thing that I was missing was how to generate leads. I understood marketing. I like from time to time would do mailers. I understood what blast emails. I even, as a loan officer, took a list of real estate agents from the Trek website and uploaded it into Constant Contact and would email it. I even got banned a few times for doing that, right? Like, I understood what marketing was, but I didn't really know. I was just putting my name out there. I thought that's what you were supposed to do. You were just supposed to brand things, right? Like, as long as they see my face, then they'll contact me. No need for a call to action or anything like that. But it wasn't really bringing in leads. There's a big difference, right? So let's talk about how you can generate leads using Facebook specifically in your business. And now let me give you a definition, something to grasp a hold of when it comes to what I call a lead. So we have a few sayings over in what we call closer land, which is the clients and I that all hang out, and we have our own little language and stuff. And in closer land, a lead is somebody who has given you their name, their email address, phone number, and most likely a story about why they gave you their name, email address, and phone number. And that person has the ability to pay you for your services. See, that's a lead. See, now information is when you collect like a name and an email, or a name and an email and a phone number, and you can't get a hold of them, or name, an email, a phone number, and a story, and they're not ready to buy yet, right? You have their information. They like, for you guys that are in the loan business, you take an application from somebody with bad credit, and they're not necessarily a lead, but you have their information. If they repair their credit in the future, they can turn into a lead. But right now, they're not a lead. They're information, right? So a lot of people, they say, you know, we've generated hundreds of leads and stuff. So we're very specific about what we call a lead back here. Now, obviously, you can't close every lead, but it's leads that have the ability to be closed, right? Now, nobody's shooting a perfect 10. If they are, hey, you're doing awesome. I want to learn from you, right? Because I've known the best salesman in the world. Nobody always goes 10 for 10, right? That's how we learn from our failures. So let's talk about generating leads on Facebook. So Facebook organic has changed a lot since 2008. I used to just talk about my accomplishments because I'm kind of a bragger anyway. If you haven't realized that already, I'll accept my faults, right? And people would reach out to me and say, hey, well, I saw you were a top producer at the mortgage company last month. Would you mind taking a look at my mortgage? Or, hey, my friend, I wanted to enter. Even just yesterday, somebody tagged me in an old high school friend's post that said the high school friend posted that they were looking for a loan officer, and what type of loan officer should they hire. And one of my other high school friends, somebody that I don't even normally talk to, didn't even know that paid attention to me, actually said, hey, well, Ryan's the guy to hook up with. I haven't done loans in 5 years. But again, because of the presence that I built back then, just accidentally, it's changed the way things are now. But you couldn't do that now. See, now there's 100,000 different pieces inside Facebook's algorithm. And I'm going to explain this in great detail to you here in just a second. But basically what I'm telling you is the way that you can do things from your personal profiles changed a lot since 2008. A recent study, or a recent example, is several agents that I know personally have gotten their accounts thrown away and had to start brand new accounts, even though they may have had thousands of friends on Facebook, because they've had the word realtor or real estate agent or something of that nature in their personal profile. You've got to be careful out there. The Facebook police are really in effect. Here's an article from Adweek. Adweek, in my opinion, is one of the authorities on advertising and everything else. They're one of the top US, one of the top global websites, and they're definitely authority on sites like Facebook and everything else. And Adweek tells you right here that, you know, Facebook's making some serious algorithm changes and what that means for brands. And if you look at this, this is dated January 6, 2015. So this is a fairly recent article, unless you're watching this years in the future. But even Facebook right here, November 14, 2014, they're telling us that they put in a big ass, basically, whoops, let me go back here. Sorry about that. I got this new trackpad over here. I'm still like trying to master it. So I might jump ahead from time to time, bear with me. But right here, Facebook, they even say, hey, we've done an update to the newsfeed, and this is what it means for your business. And they pass it off pretty nonchalantly there, but it's a major change. I don't know how close of attention you pay to your newsfeed, every day on Facebook. But if you're paying close attention, you're probably noticing that you're seeing different advertisements than you're used to seeing. You're seeing different people's posts than you're used to seeing. You have more options than ever for people to unfollow you, unsee you, unsubscribe from you, all these things. It's like politely ignore you. Right? It's because people are too big of a cowards just to unfriend somebody because they're tired of their shenanigans or whatever, they disagree or whatever. So they found these ways for us to be like cowards and just unfriend and unfollow people. And it's not even always about that. Sometimes you really like the person, but they're annoying as hell to consistently see in your newsfeed. I might even be that guy that I'm referring to when it comes to you, right? But at the same time, Facebook understands all of this, and they're doing some serious updates. I just got off the phone with a really smart internet marketer in the Northeast that is he owns a huge real estate brokerage. And he was telling me today that they just 5 days ago, Facebook made some significant changes again. And I've noticed, Facebook making changes to the ad platform about every 2 weeks, pretty consistently for the last year now. So what I'm saying is, to build an organic reach, you've got to be intentional with your post. So here's an example. And this was like 2 days ago. This was Monday. No, I'm sorry. This was Sunday at 9:19 a.m., right? And so, or maybe this was Monday. Regardless, it was just a couple of days ago. I was hoping the timestamp would be better. But I'm intentional with this post, right? Let me show you something. There's 72 people that like this, 4 shares, and there's probably 50 comments on here. You can see 6 more, but I just didn't have the room to scroll down. The reason why I say this about being intentional is this doesn't have anything to do with my work. This doesn't have anything to do with me saying, buy my stuff. This is what I sell. I'm a consultant. I'm the best. I'm an expert. Look at my clients. Look at my kids. It doesn't say anything about this. This is about them. I'm very aware of who I've attracted, just like I'm very aware of who's attending this free training. I'm very aware of who I've attracted and built a personal Facebook profile list around, and understand that a lot of people want to get to that next level on a consistent basis. And some people making $100,000 in a month feels like failure to them. Some people making $1,000 in a month feels like failure to them. So failure is only defined by the individual. But I understand on a Monday morning, when people are getting up, kicking themselves in the butt, trying to get their act together to where they can, get started all over again. They got a fresh week, a fresh day to make a sale. They haven't heard a no yet. I know that I can write something about them that'll motivate them and pump them up, and my audience loves it, right? So, and this is an example of that right here. And all I've done is basically talk. I'm intentional. I know my audience. I know when they're reading, and I know who to put this story in front of. And it talks about legacy of them, right? You got to be intentional with your posts, because Facebook's trying to hide your stuff right now. You have to be intentional with your private messages too, because when you put posts out there like that, then you get people that send you messages on the back end. So for example, if you're branding yourself in front of your sphere of influence, which is what Facebook is on your personal profile, right? It's your sphere of influence, your clients. If you're not connecting with your clients, you're crazy. You should be. Why would you work with people you wouldn't want to be connected to on Facebook? And what are you worried about saying on Facebook that you wouldn't want your clients to see? So what if you vote a certain way? So what if you feel a certain way? Like, we can all have our differences and still get along. Obviously, they liked you enough to show houses with them or take you up on your services or whatever the case is. And I mean, if all else fails, they can always unfollow you, right? They can always take the coward way out. And again, I'd like to take this moment to pause and say, if you have questions, we go through here, just hit #BreakFreeAcademy on Twitter. So right here, you get private messages. This is just the day that I made this PowerPoint, which was yesterday. It says, hey, I've been following you some time here on Facebook, caught my attention. Now, here's the key word right here. I get this a lot. I've been following you for some time here on Facebook. It never happens that I get a message like, I just saw your stuff on Facebook. I'd love to do X, Y, Z. That doesn't happen. People say, I've been following you for a while. Why? Because they want to become familiar with me. Right? Same with you, the people that have been following you for a while. They've been thinking about buying a house. They just haven't reached out to you yet. They've been thinking about taking a mortgage, an insurance policy, or whatever the case may be. They've seen how you've saved families money, made families money, whatever it is that your service provides. They've seen this. They're just following you, waiting for the right time. And when the time's right, they reach out to you in messages like this. But you have to be intentional about the way that you do Facebook, right? Your posts have to be intentional. They have to be something that gets people to engage. You don't have to talk about your business all the time. Every 3 or 4 posts is totally acceptable. If you post once a day or twice a day, every few days talking about maybe a house you sold, a person you helped, a person that got great results. And there's no need to exaggerate You know, there's no need to talk about exaggerated results or do some kind of guerrilla math to give a bottom number. All you've got to do is be authentic on there. But the main thing is engaging people, right? I don't consistently talk about my business every single day on Facebook, but yet from time to time I mention it and people back here. Matter of fact, the things that I talk about the most are stuff that's on the news. I don't even watch the news, but I know that my market resonates with it. They rely on the way that Wall Street and the media and everything else manipulate stuff for mortgage rates, insurance rates, and everything else. And I'm aware of who, again, is paying attention to me online, and I cater to that audience so that I increase my edge rate. So here's some ways to prospect Facebook in 2015 that I'll share with you, because like I said, you got to be intentional. And for your post to be seen in the newsfeed takes a lot of work these days. You damn near have to be an SEO expert to be able to keep your post from your personal profile in the newsfeed. Now, here's why. We can only handle as humans like 47 relationships. And so if we have 100 friends, 1,000 friends, 5,000 friends in my case, and then 1,000 followers on top of that, plus 7,000 on my fan page, there's no way I could keep up with all those people. I can't even keep up with 500 people. Couldn't even keep up with 200 people. Do you realize how much of an information overload that would be? And Facebook does us a favor by hiding all the BS. That's not counting the games they play, the apps, the event invites, the invites to fan pages, all the other things that post on their behalf. I mean, we would literally, we would hate Facebook. We would hate Facebook and we would hate our friends at the same time. Facebook would have to change it from a place for friends to a place where you hate people. It would drive us nuts. And Facebook understands this. So they've invested heavily in their $200 billion website to be able to build software that helps sort the mess out and only shows us what it thinks is relevant to us based on what we engaged with people-wise in the past. So you're going to see ads and everything else in your news feed. You're going to see, ads on the right-hand side and everything else. But one place that you don't see ads is in groups. And so if you're friends with your clients, you're also friends with your beer drinking buddies from college, you're friends with your dope smoking homies from your midlife crisis that you're going through, and you're friends with, 2 or 3 people that are your suppliers, right? And then you're also friends with your parents and your grandparents and your kids, and everybody's on Facebook. Not all those people are going to be interested in your business. Your clients, maybe, if they're using you right now. Most of us are transactional. I'm not. I generally have long-term relationships. But a lot of us are transactional, especially if you're real estate or mortgage. They may come back to you in 5 years. But so think about that. You're connected to all these people, and they're the ones that you talk about work with, but they probably care the least. But Facebook has a ton of groups that are people that are like-minded, that are work-related. And all you have to do is just work your finesse and work your magic and become relevant, consistent, good content inside those groups. Many of you today are here right now because you're in the Sales Talk with Sales Pros group. I noticed that there wasn't a lot of quality sales groups out there, and those that did exist only had 100 or so people. So I'll tell you exactly how I built this group that at this time I believe has 3,700 or so people. Let me check. Okay, 3,700 people, I think, maybe 2,700. Regardless, it has a lot of folks in it. And what I did was I added people who I knew could contribute and add value. So what I did was I reached out to mentors of mine, people that I've worked with, people that had stuff to say, people that could bring value to a group. And what they did was they started posting in that group. They started engaging on my post. We lifted each other up. We edified each other. And guess what? Other people started coming because they wanted to be a part of our community. They could see, oh, hey, Ryan Stewman's in there. Oh, hey, Garrett J. White's in there. Oh, hey, Brian Horn and Kevin Nations are in there talking as well. And it started to appeal to them, and they wanted to be a part of it. The next thing you know, we have people that I've never even met before that are creating authority in the group just because they're asking the right questions, just because they're posting things that are relevant to everybody. They've really got the vibe of this group down. And I would imagine a lot of them are making money from the prospecting in this group in a really cool way. But you might say, well, I don't know any key players, Ryan, and I don't want to just invite random people to my group and ask them, will they start posting back there? That's kind of weird, Ryan. I'm not in that circle like you are. And hey, I can respect that too. So here's what my suggestion would be: to find somebody who already has a group and then offer to be their admin, their co-admin. A lot of times this group is a pain in my ass. Once you get to 3,000 people, you have to keep spam out and everything else, right? People posting Ray-Bans and porn, and you guys that are members of this group have no idea the trauma and the terrible things that I spare your eyes from late at night on here, right? And then, just checking people's backgrounds before we let them in. For my assistant and I, it's a lot of work. It really is. And so you can bet that if somebody has a group with 4,000 or 5,000 people that are members, then they could use some help, especially if it's a lone admin. So going to the group and offering your services, like, hey, I'll help you clean the trash out in here, and I'll help you approve posts, or I'll help you approve members, or whatever the case may be. In exchange, all I ask is that you occasionally let me talk about business back here, since that's what the group is about. Or occasionally you talk about how you've done business with me, or how you like me, or whatever, so that we can edify each other. But your big payback to them to be able to take over the group, and not take over the group, but to be able to become the authority in the group and an admin on the group, because it's just like the teacher. Everybody respects the admin, right? But all you have to do is just offer help to the person in there. Hey, look, I don't want to steal the group from you. You can just make me an administrator, and I'll help you out in here. I'll help you scan people, everything else. So if you can't build your own group, find a group that already exists and help build it. Another thing that you can do is what I call social reconnaissance. I wrote an article about this on the Hardcore Closer blog. You can go check it out. It's actually got a video, if you can see right there. It's got a video as well that goes alongside it. And basically, social reconnaissance works like this. Social reconnaissance works like this. These days, people pretty much post what they're into on Facebook. I just went to the zoo Sunday. And so obviously checked in at the zoo, shot a couple pictures, with the family, some elephants, tigers, those kind of things. If someone was going to prospect me right now, they could go to my wall, scroll back a couple of days, see that I was at the zoo last time I took a picture, hit me up, ask me how the zoo was, right? Because they've done social reconnaissance. They've went back and seen what I've been up to. They didn't, that person doesn't have to come and hit me and say, hey, Ryan, buy my stuff. They could start an easy conversation with me about going to the zoo. And once we can, people, us humans, especially as Americans, I should say, we recognize ourselves on three things. Like three things we're open and willing to talk about at all times: our name, where we're from, and what we do for a living. So, that's how we identify ourselves as, especially like I said, as Americans. So if somebody to send me a message, ask me about the zoo, then ask me how work's going, that's totally me unarmed, right? Because they asked me about the zoo first. So I'm totally unarmed and off guard. Ask me how work's doing. And then what I like to do when I chat people up, I use social reconnaissance all the time. I talk to them about, hey, I saw you posted a house the other day, or hey, I saw you're with your kids, or whatever the case may be. And what I like to say is, instead of putting some kind of hardcore sales pitch on them, I ask them how work is. How's work going? A lot of times they'll reply and say, work's going really well. How about you? Right? It's like the natural thing to do. Again, for at least us Americans to if we give somebody an answer, we want to know how they're doing as well. It's just rude if you don't care, right? And show apathetic towards them. So they'll ask me, and I'll say, hey, work's going great, but I could always use more referrals. If you know anybody who's in the high-end consulting business or anything else, feel free to send them my way. And that's not a hardcore sales pitch at all. But what that does is that gives me the ability for them to go, I was just talking about you the other day. Or hey, you should meet what's his name. But what that also does is it allows me to just have a simple exit out. Maybe they say, okay, man, I'll keep you in mind. But I didn't put a sales pitch on them or anything. All I did was just remind them of what I do and how that I could help them out. And it all started with social reconnaissance, me actually caring enough to go look and see what they were into. See, people post stuff on Facebook because they want us to see what they're doing, right? They want somebody to acknowledge them. That's the key. Acknowledgement and engagement. So if they've gone and done something or been somewhere, then it's in my best interest to show them that I paid attention, because that's the whole reason they were looking for attention in the first place. That's the whole reason they did it. So social reconnaissance can be your friend in a major way. So the second thing outside of Facebook organic is Facebook paid traffic. So let's talk about what I call blind posts. Some people call them dark posts, but if you post from a fan page, which by the way is the only way that you can run ads, is from a Facebook fan page. So if you post on the fan page and you run an ad from there, that's totally workable. That's a strategy that works for a lot of people, but your competition can see your advertisement right there on your wall at any time. They can swipe your copy, can steal your picture. They can run the exact ad, which causes your traffic to go up and your blood pressure to go up and your lead flow to go down, because now you're splitting it between two people, and it can just be a pain in the ass, right? So what I prefer to do is blind posts. That's an ad that my target audience sees, but that my competitors and people that go to my wall don't see. So I can make my hardcore closer page, which you see, which is probably how you signed up for this webinar. But I can make my hardcore closer page just be full of content and cool stuff and cool pictures and sayings and everything else. While meanwhile, I've got ads running behind the scenes that just show up in people's news feeds on their mobile phone and on their tablets and on their desktop news feed, but not on the right-hand side because I don't really like it there. And I call those blind posts. This is an example right here. You won't find this on the wall there, but you know, the key indicator that it's a blind post here is the sponsored, right? But this is real simple. This is me just saying, agents, don't miss out on this one-of-a-kind free training. I did this a couple of weeks ago, but this is an example of a dark post. Now, the things that make these blind posts better than a traditional post too is, look, I'm able to use a lot of words up here. I could have written paragraphs up here if I wanted to. I'm able to use a lot more words in the bottom right here than I can in the traditional editor. So you have to do these blind posts in the Power Editor, and it gives you so much more freedom. I'm a big believer in using as many words and as much copy as possible because an ad's basically doing 4 things. First of all, it's getting you to look at the ad. So watch this video, even though that's not even a real video, get you to look at the ad. The second thing I've got to do now that I've sold you on looking at the ad is get you to actually read the ad. Once I've got you to read the ad, I've got to get you to do what you just read on the ad, right? And then once you do what you just read on the ad, I've got to actually give you what it is that you actually want in the first place. In this case, it's the free video, right? Think about that for a second. I need as many words as I can because I've got not just one sale going on here. I've got a series of smaller sales going on that lead me to the big sale, which ultimately leads me to the big sale, getting on the phone with somebody or getting somebody somewhere in a setting to where I can sell to them, right? So again, first thing we're trying to do is get them to look at the ad. Second thing we're trying to do is get them to read our copy now that they've looked at it. Third thing we're trying to do is get them to take the action that was told to them in the copy. And the fourth thing is that we give them whatever it is that we told them we were going to give them. 4-step process. And again, this is how I use these in blind posts. And a lot of times it takes as much copy as possible to do this. The next thing is retargeting. This is a huge word right now for everybody. And a lot of people are like, I know that you're supposed to say it. It's like a noise you make with your mouth, but I don't know what it means, right? It's like, it's somebody just made this up and I know you're supposed to say it and it's cool and everything, but I have no freaking clue what it is. Well, I'm going to help you with that today. I'm going to show you exactly what retargeting is as well. And it goes really good paired with blind posts. So I've showed you a couple of Facebook organic strategies. Now I'm going to show you a couple of these Facebook paid traffic, blind posts being one of them. Retargeting works like this. You can go back through Facebook's ad manager, and on the left-hand side, one of the choices it gives you is audiences. And once you click on that, you can create a new audience. And what it'll do is you can base it off a list that you upload, which you can upload a list of emails. So think about that. Those of you that already have an email database of past buyers, think about this from a grand scale right here for you real estate agents. You get the numbers from expireds, or you get the email addresses from for sale by owners and expireds, and you upload them to Facebook and you run an advertisement to them. Doesn't matter if they're on the do not call list anymore. You're still able to get in front of them for a fraction of the price of what it would cost you for mail. Think about that for a second. But you can do all these things over there with custom audiences, right? But the one thing that I like to do is create a website audience, and that's where retargeting comes in. And so a website audience, what it's going to do is it's going to give you right here a little pixel code, and you're going to copy and paste this code on your website, and it doesn't show up. It's not like you have like weird code written off like it back in the early 2000s when websites had weird code off to the right. It's not like that. It disappears. But what it does is it drops what's called a cookie on people that have been to that particular web page or that particular website's browser. So if you go to Hardcore Closer right now, guess what? I've dropped a cookie on you. Could drop the cookie on your ass, boom, boom. And it gets worse because you can't take it off, right? Can't take it off. It's there. Facebook has figured out some way to embed this shit in your browser that even if you go to Google Chrome or Safari or whatever and you hit delete cookies, it's not going anywhere, right? You locked down for life. You married to the cookie. You married to the cookie. So it's there forever, right? This little pixel, once you go to the website and you drop this pixel on the website and somebody goes to that website, it immediately attaches a cookie to their browser that can't be shaked, not even with a flea bath, y'all. That's how we say it in the South. So it's pretty important that you put this pixel on your website, don't you think? So think about the progression here. It's pretty hard to get somebody to give you a name and an email, right? I mean, it's for some of us, it's a little easier than others, but you have to give them something in return, right? You got to give them something in return. If somebody's giving you a name and email, they want a free video, a webinar, an ebook, some shit, you got to give them. Okay. In order for somebody to give you their, especially name and email, somebody give you their phone number, you got to really be able to provide something that they need. But for you to get somebody to click your website is like the easiest step of the funnel, right? It's like a lot of times they'll click the website and it's the website's job again to start selling them, and then they won't fill out the form or enter their information. Well, guess what? We don't need them to now in order to see future advertisements because we have a pixel on there. And now that the pixel, and it puts that pixel on your website, puts that cookie on their browser, and every time we want to run an ad to that custom audience, all we have to do is select the audience, the age range that we want, and we know that we're running an ad to people that have specifically visited our website. That, I mean, think of how laser targeted that is. You can even run, I used to do really creepy ads like, hey, I know you didn't sign up for my stuff, but you're on my website. What's going on, dude? And then what's even cooler than that is you can take the audience that you just created from the pixel, because after you get to about 500 people, it'll say that your pixel's ready, and then you can advertise to those 500 people. Sometimes it's 1,000, depends on how froggy Facebook's feeling. But regardless, then you can take that and make a custom lookalike audience, which what Facebook does. Think this is the brilliance behind this. Facebook is worth $200 billion. Like, put that in perspective, right? That's nuts. And they have a lot of people on Wall Street that they have to make happy, right? Including our government and everything else. And so they need you to put as much money as possible into advertising. They need everybody to, so they can continue to build this software, know what's relevant to you, and show you ads that you actually want to see so that you stay on the site doing what you want to do. So what they've done is they've created a way to take your small audience and then turn it into a huge lookalike audience. So I can take an audience of 500 to 1,000 people, and then Facebook, what they'll allow me to do is create a lookalike audience. Again, it's in audiences, the same place we created originally. It's just a different type. You create a lookalike audience, and look, it'll take my audience of 500 people, and you think there's 300 million people in the US right now. So to find 2 million out of 300 is really not a lot of people. And Facebook said, based on our algorithm, which works on 100,000 different key points, what groups you're connected in, what fan pages you like, what posts you talk about, what hashtags you've talked about, everything else, we found 2.1914, whatever. We found 2,191,400 people that match that criteria in the US. You see right there, it says similar to LOs. I even exported my LinkedIn contacts. Exported my LinkedIn contacts and then ran a custom audience based on my LinkedIn, because what Facebook did was they looked up everybody's emails and then said, okay, these people are connected to these pages, blah, 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 blah. And I'm able to get in front of people that fit my criteria. Now you might think 2.191's a lot. Obviously this covers the whole US. So from here I can niche it out. I can pick an age range. I can pick a geographic location. I can pick income, net worth. I can pick whether they have an insurance policy or not, when their policy is about to expire. I can pick whether they own a home or whether they rent. I can target people based on basically everything that they do on a regular basis. And I can take this 2.1 million people, or almost 2.2 million people, and narrow that down to about 100,000 people. $100 a day puts me in front of them on a regular basis and spits leads out, right? It's amazing. We have real estate agents, loan officers, and insurance people using these custom lookalike audiences and niching them down in their geographic area and everything, that are killing it because they're in front of highly targeted people. And once you're in front of highly targeted people, and let's just think about that for a minute, aren't they a lot easier to close? If you're in front of people that actually want what you have to sell, aren't they a lot easier to close? Aren't they a lot easier to get money from? I mean, a lot of us salesmen, we spend time trying to sell people shit that don't have no interest in wanting anything that we're selling. And so we're trying to Jedi mind trick and all these funny sayings and things that we say. The truth is, if you just get in front of the right people that actually want what you have, they exist, they're everywhere. If you just get in front of them, aren't they that much easier to sell? So let's talk about that, right? So if we're in front of the right people, then what makes them so easy to sell, and how being dialed in with your marketing can affect your closing ratios? So first of all, when it comes to marketing, you have to know what your magic power is. And again, that's one of those funny phrases like Jedi mind trick type stuff. But seriously, you have to know your magic power. And like, here's an example of mine. I know my magic power is like people that are tired of guessing this stuff. They tend to come to me. They want customization, accountability, some consultation for a few months, sometimes a year, to be able to help them get to the next level so they can make the money and have the freedom that they want to. They know that this shit's the next level stuff they need. And so I understand that my magic power is putting together somebody who automatically has a good business that's already doing a decent amount of money, showing them how to put a few things in place technology-wise, how to run a few advertisements, to build a team, so on and so forth, to be able to take their business to the next level. I understand that that's my magic power, and those are the type of people I'm trying to get in front of. And so with your magic power, if you sell luxury homes, or if you like to write jumbo loans, or you like to write life insurance policies, you're not going to advertise to people that have a net worth of less than $100,000. You're not going to advertise to people that have an income of less than $250,000 a year, right? So once you get in touch with knowing what it is that you specialize in, no matter what that is, then you can start working on getting that message that you know that you're confident in front of people who actually, like I said earlier, who actually are interested in buying it. And that's how you increase your closing ratios, right? So let's talk about that for a minute, knowing your magic power. Well, you know, one of the things about knowing your magic power and then understanding who it is that's best served by that magic power that you possess, Gandalf. Here's another side of that. It's a good idea to know who's not your perfect customer. So you got to know who you don't want to work with. If you want to work with luxury buyers, you know that you don't want to work with people that have houses under $500,000. And then you're part of depends on where you're at. California people might have just laughed at me. 500,000 luxury, what? I'm in Texas, y'all. So, but again, you have to identify who it is that you can best serve. And a byproduct of that is knowing who you can't serve. So right here, I'll give you an example. This is a message that I got from this dude a while back, and it looks like it was on the first of the year. And he's like, it looks like I have a very, very dirty mouth. This is a group, somebody from my group. And so, you know, he asked to be a part of my group. I explained to it, and then he started, you know, going off on me here. And basically, I didn't even pay him any attention here because I know he's not my perfect client, because obviously if he has a problem with my language, he's not really going to fit into well to anything that I'm doing. So it's an easy sign for me to get rid of that person. I know I'm not trying to attract them, so I don't spend time on them. Again, they're not somebody seeking what I have, so why would I spend time trying to explain anything to that person? So a good thing about knowing who exactly you can help, it's the byproduct of that is knowing exactly who you can't help. And marketing does two things perfectly if you're good at it: repel and attract. Nothing more, nothing less. So knowing your magic power and identifying your perfect customer allows you to pre-frame ads. Well, I got like slippery tongue twister syndrome today. Well, how was I able to spit that out perfectly, but I can't even say pre-frame ads? It's driving me nuts. So, once you identify what it is that you can do and who you can best do it for, then you can pre-frame that in your ads. A lot of people will be seeing this shortly because we're actually recording this video for this, but this is how to generate high quality leads, increase your prospect to closing ratios, and charge premium prices for your services. I know exactly what type of person is looking at this, and I know that those of you watching this right now, that's exactly what you're looking for. So if that's what you're looking for, and I know how to solve that problem, why wouldn't I demonstrate that in my advertisement, which led you to be here in the first place? For example, if they need a home and you're the person that specializes in the area that they need a home in, and they know that you're the person that specializes in the area that they need a home in, why wouldn't they reach out to you? Wouldn't make any sense for them not to, right? Would be a terrible decision for them not to. They know that as well. As long as you pre-frame your ads accordingly, saying, here's my magic power, I know that you need this, how could they not take action on it? It's what led you here today, so you know that it works. So another thing is no gimmicks. That's a really big deal to me, is no gimmicks, right? They say I'm the hardcore closer, no bullshit guy, but I don't think that you have to. A lot of people talk about tripwires and all that, and that's great. If you're smart and you can do all that stuff, man, God bless you. You know, I'm not that technical of a guy. What I've done is I've found a way to leverage simple technology to help me do big things, to leverage minor technology to help me do major things. And I don't have to have any gimmicks along the way. Instead of $7 books, I'd just rather give the stuff away. Instead of charging people, you know, $10 for this for this report I wrote, or for this, that, I'd just rather give it away. I want to help people that are serious, that I can make a serious strives towards success with, right? And I just don't think that selling a tripwire or anything else, I don't think that tricking people with clickbait or anything like that is anything that you think might be gimmicky or unethical. Just avoid it, because people see that and they say, oh, that's kind of douchey, or oh, that's kind of gimmicky. And then you're starting to train your people that you're not trustworthy. So that's another huge way to increase closing ratios, is just don't put any bullshit gimmicks. You know, like the car industry a lot of times says no money down, no matter what your credit. That's very rarely the case. Now, it may be now. I don't know. I hear credit's really flowing freely these days. So I hear the subprime world's alive and well in the car business. But you get what I'm saying. Let's just talk mortgages. You know, people say no money down, and then rarely that's what they get. So no gimmicks. Shoot them straight. So let's talk about some keys to social media influence. Again, no gimmicks is also be you, be the real you. Like I was saying earlier, if you vote a certain way, if you have a stance on religion, if you have a stance on how things are, then probably you'd be best to hang out with people just like you. So why try appeasing people around you that you really wouldn't want to hang out with or get along anyway? Marketing does two things. I said this before, it attracts and repels. The good thing about the repel part is it gets rid of the people that you don't need around anyway, which makes room for more people. If you can only keep an online relationship and a lifestyle relationship with 47 different individuals, don't you think you ought to fill those seats with the 47 best people that you could possibly find to fill those seats? The only way that you can do that is by being real and being you, because if you're not you, how do they even know who they're attracted to? They don't know that person. If you're not you and you're not clear on who you are, then how can they be clear on whether they like you or not? How can they be clear on whether they want to be attracted to you? You've got to be you, got to demonstrate who you are. I'm a good example of this. I'm an extreme motherfucker. I say some shit that is off the wall to test you that follow me on a regular basis. And I run a lot of people off in the process. But the people that agree with me, it strengthens their bond. And guess what? It allows me to have better relationships with those people. It allows me for them to appreciate the stuff that I'm doing, and ultimately for those people to turn into clients many times as well. So be you. The next thing is, again, stay consistent. To recap, even when the world was against me and I had to go sell cars and everything else, I still stayed consistent with my podcast, even from the front seat of my car. Stay consistent. If you post once a day, always post once a day. If you post 2 or 3 times a day, always post 2 or 3 times a day. People, it's like you could be people's morning news and you don't even know it. People could be waking up every morning, taking a shit, laughing at your Facebook post, and you don't even know it. But then one day they reach out to you, like you saw the message earlier, and they say, hey, I've been following you for some time, and I know you're the person when it comes to XYZ service. Stay consistent, y'all. And the next thing is create content. So here's how websites work. Real quick breakdown. The more pages you have, the more likely you are to be found online. So big sites like Mashable, Yahoo, MSN, they have trillions of, I say trillions, a big word, but maybe true, right? Trillions of different articles and people published. I mean, they're consistently putting out content left and right like you wouldn't believe. There's so many web pages, you can never count them. And they're building more than we could probably count on a daily basis. And so, you're not going to be able to keep up with those people in most cases, but what you can do is if you're consistent, you create content. Those podcasts I did are content. This training that we're on right now, this is content. The emails that I send out, that's content that I can reuse later. The YouTube videos that I have, that's content that I could use later. The blog posts that I write, everything. Once you create it and it goes online, you know, people say, well, be careful, it's there for forever. Why not use that to your advantage? If you put a sales pitch online and people are going to Google and they're searching for that sales pitch, wouldn't you want to be the person to put the sales pitch in front of them? The only way to do that is consistently create content. Let me tell you something that's even better about that. Like, not besides the fact that it gives people more chances to find you when they're searching for stuff, either on Facebook or Google. It also gives you a way to buy time. Think about creating content from this perspective. When someone asks me a question these days, I don't really take much time to reply back to it. I already wrote a web link or something of that nature, a video. I've already done something about it, clients or friends. And I'll just shoot them the blog post, shoot them the video. Instead of me trying to explain it and have a 30-minute conversation with them, I've already recorded it. I go over to my YouTube channel or over to my blog. I search the words that I know that they're looking for, and bam, there's the link. Or I tell them, hey, go over there and search in my blog for this. It's right there. It bought me time. Guess what? I normally spend 30 minutes trying to help somebody doing something, but that frees up more time for me to do what? Marketing. Me to bring new clients in. I've leveraged technology not only to put my sales pitches on autopilots, but also put my consulting and the help that I do. You can do the same thing, whether you're mortgages, real estate, or anything. Again, when you go over to hardcorecloser.com, the blog after this webinar, you can, on the right-hand side, there's a how to video market your mortgage business. It's a free book. Again, I have no gimmicks, right? It's a free book. And check it out. It's going to give you 6 videos that'll show you how to leverage some of your stuff on YouTube completely for free, as long as you own a phone already. But creating content, that's how you get in front of people. So let's talk about the last part here now, premium pricing. So we talked about being able to generate leads, some strategies there. We talked about how to, if we've got the magic power and the perfect customer, and then we put advertising in front of them, we can't lose. So how are we going to charge those people more? Well, it's actually a lot easier than you think. When I was a loan officer, the places that I worked for had some of the highest fees in the industry. Our rates weren't necessarily that competitive, and definitely our fees were high. And our turn times weren't like beautiful either, but yet I created loyalty with clients by shooting them straight. And shooting them straight meant having a serious sales conversation for a change. A lot of salesmen are cowards. There, I said it. A lot of us aren't, but a lot of salesmen can be cowards. I'm sure, just like the rest of you watching this right now, you've seen people in your office place and you went, man, I could have closed that. I can't believe he let that business walk away. My girlfriend comes home at night. Sometimes it's like, man, these guys, I'm having to go behind them and close deals. I can't believe they were just going to let the business go away. I had to jerk the phone away from one dude and close them. And it's because a lot of people are order takers. They just allow their clients to dictate how things are going. But clients don't know how to do a mortgage. Clients don't know how to sell their own home. If they did, they'd have their own fucking money and sell their house themselves, right? Instead, they're relying on us. And just because they've read a blog post somewhere or seen a video somewhere doesn't mean that they're educated on the intricate workings of how your job, service, or consultation or whatever it is that you do works. So when you're having a serious conversation with them, set expectations, but more importantly, ask the hard questions. Instead of just taking whatever their answer is at surface value, if you know they've showed up, you know they're the perfect customer, you know you can help them, and you can help them with less pain, with ease, whatever the case is in your particular industry or service, then you've got to ask the hard questions to get there. And if you charge a lot of money, like I do, you've got to ask the right questions, the hard questions to get those feelings out of the way and show them you mean business. They know if you're skirting around questions. They can tell you're a coward. If you're upfront, confident, direct, you can't lose. Don't ask loaded questions. And what I mean by a loaded question is don't give somebody the answer. There was a study where 2 prominent newscasters interviewed Elon Musk. Newscaster number 1 interviewed him and asked him questions like, so once the car's completed and this electric car is ready to go, are you going to put electric outlets in every gas station or in specific gas station, or are you going to put them in specific states? What is your plans there? And so what they did was they gave him only 3 choices. They limited Elon Musk's mind, only 3 choices. And he gave them a simple answer. He said, well, our idea is to take this nationwide. Meanwhile, interviewer number 2 interviewed him. He said, so what's your plans when it comes to installing these electric stations? He went on to take 15 minutes to answer that question because his mind wasn't pre-framed. So when you're on the phone with these people, don't assume anything. Don't assume you know all of their problems. Ask them the questions. One thing that I like to say when people first show up is, hey, what made you decide to reach out? They're going to give me an inkling of an idea of why what the peek behind the scenes is going on in their life. It's my job to remember that part and try to poke a little bit further through it to find out what they really meant. So, and for example, nobody wants a mortgage, right? Most people don't want to move, but nobody wants a mortgage, right? Nobody rolls over in the middle of the night like, honey, we need a 30-year fix, 4.25% interest rate, $1,500 in closing fees. It's got to be happening. No, what happens is the wife rolls over and says, honey, the baby's coming in 3 months and the boy's already outgrowing the room that they're in right now. Or the husband rolls over and says, honey, I got the job promotion, or I lost my job, or there's an underlying reason they're having to make that move. Relocation, promotion, divorce, demotion. And once you start finding out, you ask them hard questions that are open-ended, allow them to tell you your story, you solve that problem. I know a lot of times when people reached out to me as a loan officer, They were wanting to buy a house for, everybody says they want to buy a house, but what's the real reason? Well, I just got married and, that's the next progression of the thing. Cool. So here's how we'll make this seamless. If you've never moved before, if you've never taken out insurance policy, I'll plug you into my network, blah, blah, blah. I have a friend that owns a moving company, and they have several bolt-on services that they have with that moving company that makes it easier for everybody. Guess what? They charge premium pricing because of it. They've solved a bigger problem than just the moving. You could solve a bigger problem than just the mortgage. You could solve a bigger problem than just the sale or buy of their house. But if you ask them loaded questions, you pre-frame in their mind to give you only 2 or 3 answers, then how we ever know? Which brings me to the next part. Don't talk so damn much. Listen, question the confession and listen. What you're trying to do is work like the police here, right? Anything you say can and will be used against you in a close of sale. Don't talk so damn much. And lastly, pay attention. When you're on the phone with somebody, you're having a serious sales conversation. If you're going to charge them higher amounts of money, you're going to have to actually pay attention. You're going to have to repeat the things that they say. You're going to have to show interest in what they're talking about, genuine interest. That means turning off the iPads, turning off the distractions. Listen, you've seen that it's taken us an hour to get where we're at so far in this training. We've had to work hard from not only generating these leads, but possibly paying for these leads through advertising too. Don't you think you should pay attention to what it is that they need when they arrive in your inbox so that you can try to sell them on you being the solution to that need? That all starts with listening to them. Listen, the problem is what you're trying to solve. You're not trying to offer them your service. You're trying to solve their problem. And once you make that shift, and I'm sure I'm not the first person that you've heard say this, but once you make that shift, it changes things dramatically. You don't have to be a hardcore closer if you're a badass problem solver. It's that simple. They have a problem. You're in front of the right people. You have the solution to it. Doesn't matter if your cost is $100 or $1 million. If you're the right solution and you're in front of the right person, price is never an issue. Right? A lot of people wouldn't pay what I pay to live in an apartment. They say I'm out of my mind. But for me, for what I wanted and the specific needs for Break Free Academy and everything else, price wasn't an issue. My problem was I needed space. Your job is to demonstrate that you're the solution. In my case, here's how I know that we can provide that space. And it's not so much how your product or service is the solution. It's how you're the solution. A lot of times people buy on the salesman, not the brand. Some of you have been to several different real estate companies, several different mortgage companies, and people still buy from you, not those companies. So make sure you focus on how you're the solution, because that's how you create customer loyalty to you and not a brand. That's important. And again, explain what you offer. Listen, it's important to elaborate. You know, there's a thing on Reddit called Explain It Like I'm 5. And the idea is a lot of people don't understand shit. We assume that people are as smart as us. But look, you're on this webinar. I'm going to imagine that you're an elite person. You're pretty sharp on your feet. You know what you're doing. You're a successful business person. You can't expect all of our clients to be that way, right? It's best to explain it, articulate it, set expectations, and clearly let them know what you can do to help solve that problem. Explain it, articulate it, and listen. When you have a serious conversation with these things, that's how you're able to charge premium prices, because the whole shift, right? It's not so much about, you know, you doing more work. It's not about, hey, listen, I'll do this X, Y, Z. I'll give you this in as well as this, blah, blah, blah. It's not about that at all. What it becomes about is the fact that you can solve their problem and you're the person to rely on, right? There's people all day, every day that would rather have Louis Vuitton than a Walmart bag, even though they're both made of the same material. Which are you? Again, presenting the offer. My favorite close after I present the offer, which is self-explanatory, is what's next. I love that, right? There's this hard-headedness between, especially if your job, like a loan officer, you got to sell other real estate agents, which are salespeople too. And we know he who talks first loses the sale, right? So the way that I end after I present my offer is what's next. So I'll say, hey, listen, this is the deal. You can buy this right now. We'll do the X, Y, Z, take X, Y, Z activity together. Here's the price. What's next? That way, there's no need for silence. I don't have to be like, is he going to talk? Am I going to talk? How's this going to go? Let me flex my nuts a little bit. There's a growl a little bit. Let's see what he's going to say. I'm going to breathe a little harder on the phone here. Try to see if I can get him to talk first. No. What's next solves all that. It's one of the, well, you know, what made you decide to reach out? It's the most powerful opening sentence I know. And what's next is the most powerful closing sentence I know that I personally use. There's a lot of people that have theories and have these fancy word tracks and stuff. Those two word tracks will serve you no matter what. Again, We're going to talk problem solving on these calls and not pitch. It's not, well, here's what you need, 30-year fix, blah, blah, blah. Here's what you need, 6% commission site. Well, here's what we can do. We can transition you from this house to that house. We can take your equity from one, deposit into the other. You don't even have to see that part, deal with that. It's tax deductible because you've been in the house for over 2 years, so on and so forth. Problem solve, don't pitch. So let's talk about Break Free Academy real quick. And then we'll talk about the bonus stuff that I've got here for you guys. These are the types of things that we talk about in Break Free Academy. You come to Dallas, you spend 3 days with me, and I actually put these funnels together for you. Right? These advertising, I show you the pixels, all that stuff. I show you how to put all of that together. I do it alongside of you. Day 1, I teach you how to do it. Day 2, we do it together. Day 3, we run traffic to it. It's an amazing feeling. People leave here with leads every single month. I always do it the second Wednesday through Friday of each month, January through October. I understand that at $5,000, a lot of people can't afford to come to Break Free Academy, even though only one transaction will generally pay for the investment that it takes to get here, plane tickets and all. Like I said, it's 3 days in Dallas, hands-on training, customization. And then after that, I do 6 weeks of continued consulting and accountability. The cool thing is you actually get 10 weeks worth of content to consume and then 6 weeks worth of hangouts with you, me, and the rest of the people that attended your particular Break Free Academy session as well for 6 weeks after the fact. So not only do I send you away from Dallas with the actual digital assets. I mean, think about it. You got websites, Facebook pages, lead pages, email capture set up, advertisements running, Facebook ads running. And then you on top of that get 6 weeks to split test, talk results with me. Let me look at your copy, all that other stuff. So before today, that's the only way that I've ever offered Break Free Academy. But now I'd like to tell you today that I have this in digital format. It's a lot better than what you think, right? The only thing that you're missing is me, but I found a way to duplicate myself. In the Break Free Academy digital program, there's over 60 videos, PDFs, and audios. Think about that. That's over 60 hours worth of training that you can get your hands on. That's perfectly and meticulously organized. We're talking Facebook training, LinkedIn training, sales conversations, and I've got a bonus tab back there full of so much different, like everything you could possibly imagine. Again, I cover Facebook ads, organic marketing, vicious video tactics, sales scripts, and a shit ton more stuff that you couldn't even imagine, right? I mean, it's literally loaded to, let me find my thing here, drop the screen there. It's literally loaded back there for you guys. So what I'm gonna ask you to do at the end of this webinar is I'm gonna pull my phone up here and look at your questions. And if you'll scroll down below the comments, there's a banner down there. If you're watching the replay, if you just look up above the video where it says buy now, let me lower my shade there so I don't have the weird white face look going on there. Like a phantom. Am I stuck in a box here? Anyway, let me pull up my Twitter here, and take a look at the things on here and see what questions you guys have for me. But listen, Break Free Academy, it's $1,000. You go over, scroll on the thing. Once we're done with this webinar, just click the banner, go over there. It's going to take 2 minutes that you're going to look in the portal. The buy now button will show up. No gimmicks, nothing. It's $1,000 straight up. But here's the cool part. First 20 of you that buy this, I'll throw show up and close, which is another $1,000 product in for free. The first 20 people that go over there and buy Break Free Academy for $1,000, I'll give you another $1,000 bonus of show up and close for free. Right? So you get $2,000 worth of material. It's for sale right now for $1,000 on my website. I sell them all day, every day. So you get $2,000, 2 completely training courses, over 100 videos. Dude, it'll take you a whole year to consume and implement that content. You'd be like Batman. You have so many weapons in your tool belt if you go through both of those programs. And then the first 10 people that purchase the Break Free Academy digital program, I'll not only give you show up and close as a bonus for that, I'll give you 30 minutes one-on-one consulting time. So you could go through 6 or 7 weeks of Break Free Academy digital, get a good understanding of everything, have your funnels up and running, and then call me for 30 minutes. Let's set up a time for 30 minutes, and we'll actually go over what you have, and I'll treat you just as if you are a 100% paying member of the tribe or Break Free Academy or anything else, and we'll look specifically at your funnel. But those are to the only first 10 people, because I don't have time to do that for everybody. And the first 20 people get show up and close. So I urge you to go there, even just leave this up another window, go over there, start the process when you click the banner below or up there, and I'll help you out. Now let me pull up the Twitter here. Break Free Academy. I'm almost there, y'all. Bear with me. Let's see what we got going on here. Well, I'm having a, whoops. There we go. Twitter got to be always so dang difficult. So right here we have, well, I can't seem to find the hashtag here on my thing. And I know you guys are tweeting me because I saw the stuff come across. Let's see. Here we go. We have one from Eric Sinar. It says, can you run that pixel on the Wufoo form or just on a landings page? So that's a really good question, Eric. The pixel will not go on a Wufoo form as far as I know. Maybe there's a way to edit the CSS on some of those forms. That's not really my thing. But what you can do is you can embed the Wufoo form like you see on this page here, and then you can put the pixel in your actual blog page and then embed the Wufoo form there as well. So there is a workaround when it comes to that. Let's see here. It looks like people were actually tweeting me directly. The next one says, can we expect Facebook training from what kind of Let's see here. No, that's the wrong one. Sorry. So a lot of messages coming through. I don't check Twitter as often as I could. So another question I got was, what kind of Facebook trainings can we expect? So everything when it comes to ads, I've got retargeting back there. I've got pixels back there. I've got how to run specific ads like community ads, divorce ads, everything else, the things that are working within the last 6 months from the tribe and from our Break Free Academy graduates, like test results, test cases, study cases, all that's back there. So, all right. So since I can't figure out how to work the Twitter the right way, what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about the good old bonus for the letter. So what you got to do is go to the Hardcore Closer fan page and just post on the wall over there what your biggest takeaway from this webinar was. And Lindsay, my assistant, is going to judge whoever posts the coolest takeaway or the best post up there, even if it's something funny, right? She's going to judge it. Always let her do it. And then whoever she picks, I'll send you a message on Facebook and give you the letter with the training around it. All I ask is that you don't share it with anybody except for with people that are going to get the letter in the mail as an advertisement, because it really is a powerful tool. And by the way, that is a part of Break Free Academy digital as well. So again, thank you in advance for those of you that I can see coming across now. I look forward to our consultation and giving you access to show up and close as well. So thanks again for your time here. Have a great afternoon.